I'm going to start an introduction here for the fertilizer certification program. This first slide set is on the introduction regarding fertilizer applicator certification laws, but there would be several others to follow that kind of gives you an overview of the 2 to 3 hour program we've been presenting. So I'm Harold Waters, Iowa State University Extension Field Specialist for Agronomic Systems, and our first video here would be on fertilizer applicator certification laws in Ohio. So this is the reason we're here. This is a satellite view of Lake Erie in September 2015 when we had the largest harmful algal bloom on Lake Erie in history. Got a lot of people's attention going back several years now, but just to show you that we have not yet met the challenge, I guess, to start reducing nutrient loads. But that's part of the reason that we're talking about this. So here's the severity scale. This was actually established in 2011, and this is the Lake Erie Severity Index, and we set not we, but the regulators set a index of 10 at that point, thinking 2011 was about as bad as it could be as far as size of harmful algal blooms. And yet in 2015 we surpassed that, and now we have a 10.5 on our 10-point scale as far as how large our harmful algal blooms may get. So why are we concerned about fertilizer certification? Those environmental concerns I just alluded to regarding Lake Erie, but it's not just Lake Erie, there's other concerns across the state of Ohio. But agriculture contributes to sedimentation, nitrogen loading, phosphorus loading, and those all can increase the harmful algal blooms. There are also some regulatory statutes, so laws in Ohio, based on Senate Bill 1, first of all, the applicator certification law, and that started in 2014, passed in 2014. Senate Bill 1 is the application law of 2015 for the Western Lake Erie Basin. And in House Bill 64, which is actually the budget bill for 2016 and 2017, is a bill that moved the Soil and Water Conservation District offices to the Ohio Department of Agriculture. And it's now a division of the Soil and Water Conservation. And that group has an office in every county, of course, and the anticipation would be that they would work with growers on a local basis to write nutrient management plans, provide assistance on recommendations for practices, things like that as well. So the laws, as I said, Senate Bill 150 was the first one to come up. It was in 2014. It's an applicator certification law. So this was written that if you apply fertilizer in the state of Ohio, under certain conditions, they want you to become certified. It is a statewide law. And in Senate Bill 1, that was passed in 2015, came into effect, I believe, in July 2015. But that's a nutrient application restriction law for the Western Lake Erie Basin. So that geography, the Western Lake Erie Basin, there are some guidelines in which you can or cannot do as far as applications go. And then included within Senate Bill 1 is a statewide restrictions on applying manure from concentrated animal feeding facilities, and that law says you must be certified applicator, fertilizer certified applicator in order to apply that manure from those concentrated animal feeding facilities. I may have to redo that slide. Fertilizer certification is required by September 30th of 2017 if you apply fertilizer to more than 50 acres of agricultural production grown primarily for sale. So on the other hand, if you feed your corn and soybeans directly to your livestock, sell those livestock off the farm, you do not necessarily need to be a certified applicator. On the other hand, we would like to see everybody with 50 acres or more certified as a fertilizer applicator. Certified crop advisors and certified livestock managers, CCAs and CLMs, need only provide evidence of their credentials to Ohio Department of Agriculture to get their certification. And they would be exempt only from the education requirement, however. So in that application process is such that you call ODA, notify ODA, the Ohio Department of Agriculture, get an application from them, fill out that application, provide your credentials, and then they would send you a certification card. There is no difference between commercial and private fertilizer applicators in Ohio at this point, and then you would recertify every 3 years by attending a 2-hour training program with appropriate fees, of course, paid to Ohio Department of Agriculture. And then record keeping. This is the other important item within Senate Bill 150. Within 24 hours of a fertilizer application, a nutrient application, maybe I should say, because this would apply to Senate Bill 1 as well, you would record the name of the fertilizer certificate holder. If you have someone who's working under your supervision, you required to include their name as well. The date of application, of course, the location, by farm ID. Fertilizer analysis, the amount of fertilizer and the rate at which you applied it. Fertilizer application method, so surface applied, incorporated, banding, through the planter, those kind of things is what we would look for there. Look for soil conditions at the application. And in surface applications only, we would like to know if the ground is frozen or snow covered. No restrictions against those in most of Ohio, but if we still would like to record that information. We'd also want to hear or see on that record a temperature and precipitation during application. And this is new and beyond what we've done for pesticide application in the past. We would want to see the weather forecast for the day following the application as well with those fertilizer application records. And then you must keep those records for 3 years. Page 5 of our Fertilizer Applicator Certification Training Manual has this suggested format. There is no required format for the application record, but there's just one there on page 5, and the training manual is provided as a PDF file at the end of the video sessions. And this is Senate Bill 1, again the geography of western Lake Erie Basin, the watershed there, northwest Ohio. So this is where we have those application restrictions on fertilizer and manure. And on this next slide, yes, Senate Bill 1, the application restrictions. So for applications of granular fertilizer, defined as nitrogen or phosphorus, so potassium is not included in this one, or manure in the western Lake Erie Basin, a person may not apply on snow-covered or frozen ground, may not apply when the top 2 inches of soil are saturated from precipitation, may not apply when the local weather forecast for the application area contains a greater than 50% chance of precipitation of 1 inch or more in a 12-hour period for granular fertilizer, or 1/2 inch or more in a 24-hour period for manure. And the 1/2 inch distinction there is where you make the assumption that you will have about a 1/2 inch of equivalent moisture in that manure. So 1/2 inch of rainfall, 1/2 inch plus manure would potentially lead to a runoff event. Unless, so no applications unless the fertilizer nutrient is injected into the ground, incorporated in some manner within 24 hours of that surface application, or applied to a growing crop. One location for those weather records that we'd like to see for both Senate Bill 1 and for Senate Bill 150 is weather.gov, and so a slide here just indicates what that website looks like. If you enter your zip code in that upper left-hand corner, it will get you down to your location, which is what the record keeping requires. And in a further video, we'll have the 12 and 24-hour record keeping that goes more in depth into that weather.gov website and how exactly to find that record. And then just to summarize, our laws and regulations at this point in Ohio, we want you to become a certified fertilizer applicator if you're applying fertilizer to more than 50 acres. You must keep records of an application made within 24 hours and then keep those records for 3 years. We encourage all farmers to develop a nutrient management plan, and you can work with the Division of Soil Water Conservation, NRCS, crop consultants, extension, perhaps even retailers in Ohio. I think that's a service they will begin offering hopefully in the near future. And then a voluntary nutrient management plan can be used as part of an affirmative defense in case you're sued. And we also want to encourage you to follow all fertilizer and manure application restrictions that are used in western Lake Erie Basin.